Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to this afternoon session today. So remember that if you want to turn on your cameras, you want to type on the chat, everything is available so you can join us during this session in person as well. As we said yesterday, some of you may be having lunch or taking a break from work or anything, whatever you're doing, thank you for joining. We're very excited to have you again in this workshop. And today, as we promised, we have a pretty special guest. Her name is Adriana Molina. She's also an advisor as Mabel and I, but she's in Education USA Morelia. So if any of you is from Morelia, Adri would be your advisor. But Adri, you can see here on the screen, she's saying hi. Hi. But Adri is also, she's our colleague and friend, but also not only an advisor, she also spends many hours of her day teaching English. So she's a professor of English as a second language. So welcome, Adri. Thank you for joining us today. And today she's going to be talking about the GRE verbal reasoning section. So make sure that you have your pen, your notebook, or wherever you're taking notes, because she's going to give us some tips and resources for this section of the GRE. Thank you, Adri, again for joining us today. And the floor is yours, and I'll see you at the end. I'll be around.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Jenny, for that kind presentation, introduction. So yes, my name is Adri Molina, and I am joining from Michoacán, Morelia. Today, we are going to talk about the GRE, verbal reasoning section, and let's start. As you know, you already know the general structure of this exam. You have 3 sections with 1, 2, and 2 subsections. But also remember, you covered this with Sorani a couple of days ago, you are going to have a tryout section, an extra section that is either going to be just for research or general information for the exam developers, right? So we are going to concentrate on the second section. It's called verbal reasoning. And these are some characteristics of the section. Antes de empezar con lo que vamos a hacer el día de hoy, que es una práctica bastante hands-on, vamos a ver en general, antes de cada acción, antes de cada actividad, vamos a ver algunos tips, algunas recomendaciones o características generales de este examen. So I recommend that you are very aware of what we are discussing in each case. Not only doing the activity, which will be very useful, I hope, but also take the notes that you are going to see in each slide, okay? So the verbal reasoning section has 2 30-minute sections, and you will find 20 questions per section. So that gives you around 60 seconds per each question. You need to be very aware, very active, and very quick. You are going to have something like this: analyze and evaluate written material and synthesize information obtained from it. Analyze relationships among component parts of sentences and recognize relationships among words and concepts. It's not only necessary for you to read, but also you need to be actively involved with these ideas. You are not only going to be asked to complete an idea, for instance, complete a sentence, but you really need to analyze and determine what is the correct completion. To give you an example. Okay, so this verbal reasoning measure contains 2 30-minute sections, as I was saying a minute ago, and each section, each subsection contains 20 questions in each section. To give a balance of all the different profiles that take the test, they contain a balanced component of reading comprehension sets, text completion question, and sentence equivalence questions. They are focused on different topics: natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities, but you don't need to know specific information previous to taking this exam in order to be successful in the exam. That is, with the information you are going to encounter within each question, each text, you will have enough information to answer each question. You don't need to be an expert on any of these areas, but most likely you will be, right? You will find one of the, some of the questions being more closer to your areas of interest or knowledge, and others that are not quite there. But don't worry, with the correct preparation, with knowledge on the context, the structure of the exam, and a lot of practice, you are going to be very successful in this section. So the reading component comprehension sets consist of one passage and one or more associated questions. So for one passage, you can have only one question, or for that same passage, you can have 2 or 3 or more questions, okay? This set requires that the test taker read and understand what is read. Not only reading, but also understanding. And for that, you need to have an active reading all the time. These are some main ideas or main skills that you need to prove in this section. You need to recognize the purpose and the main idea within a text. Recognize specific points made within the text. Recognizing assumptions made in an argument within a text. Making inferences and evaluating purpose and structure within a text. When I say you have to make inferences, remember, to make an inference is not to guess. When you guess, there is a good or bad luck element within it, right? Like maybe it's red. You have no idea of what the color is. But when you make an inference, you take into consideration logics and the previous information or the information that is presented before you. So make sure that when I say inferences, making inferences, you don't read or understand guessing, because that is something that you should in general avoid, right? Muy bien. Let me once again welcome everyone is joining. Bienvenidos todos, todas. I know I'm going a little bit quick, but we are going to get a section when we are going to give a specific time for you to answer some questions, okay? Estamos viendo la estructura general de la sección que nos ocupa, que es la sección de, déjame ir acá, a verbal reasoning measure, okay? Muy bien. So these are the things, the specific objectives of the questions that you will encounter in this section. Recognize purpose and main idea, recognizing specific points made, recognizing assumptions made in the text, making inferences, not guessing, and evaluating purpose and structure of a sentence or a piece of text. Each reading passage contains all the information needed to answer the questions that follow. Since we are not answering a questionnaire on our knowledge, nor are we trying to guess something, we are going to base all of our answers exclusively on the information presented before us, okay? That is an important tip to keep in mind. Okay, so these are the type of questions that you will encounter. Multiple choice, selecting passage. What do I mean multiple choice? Well, the first topic, the first type of questions that you will encounter is multiple choice. It's a question, you'll have 5 answer choices, but only one answers correctly the question that is presented before you. You only need to select one. In fact, if you select one, you cannot select the other at the same time. The second type of question is also multiple choice. You will also have 3 choices generally, but in this one, you need to determine if one answer is enough to completely answer the question, or you need to select 2 or even 3 of the answer choices. In this type of question, multiple choice section number 2, in section 2, you will have the freedom to decide how many of the options are correct. How many of the options really answer the whole question. So be careful here. Multiple option, choose one. Multiple option, choose 1, 2, or 3, we don't know. And selecting passage. In the last section, selecting passage, you need to choose the sentence that in the passage that fits a given description in the question. You don't need to type there. You just need to literally select the answer within the text. Okay, how are we doing? Remember, you can make some questions directly in the chat, or you can even open your microphone, okay? All right, so breathe. You are still not watching the complete screen of your exam, but I think you have already, right? Sorani, a couple of days ago, showed you what the screen in the exam will look like. This is an activity that we are going to do, a couple of activities in reality. Before we do the actual activity, let's read the topic that the tip that they offer us. Traditional multiple choice questions with 5 answer choices, of which the test taker must select one, only one. This is the first section in section 2. Reading comprehension, multiple choice, select one answer choice. I need you to focus on the question. The wording of the question is very important. And regardless of you being highly trained for the exam, my recommendation is that you always read the instruction and the question. Do not make any assumptions yet, all right? So the instruction says, for each of the questions 1 to 9, select one answer choice unless otherwise directed. Okay, that is the instruction for the general section, right? This is the first part of section 2. But besides that, I need you to read the question. After you read the question, try to find the correct answer. Ya dijimos, tenemos medio minuto para cada pregunta. Quiero que trates de contestar esto y que después trates de reflexionar y me digas cómo le hiciste para contestarla. Te voy a dar 1 minuto a partir de ya. Contesta. Okay, that's 1 minute. Por favor, escribe en el chat cuál crees que responda, cuál opción responderá a la pregunta. The passage suggests that the proliferation of Brackworth was particularly ill-timed because it's A, B, C, D, or E. A ver, les leo. ¿Quién sí está despierto, despierta, siguiendo la actividad? ¿Quién tiene su respuesta? No importa si te equivocas, ¿eh? Ahorita estamos, muchas gracias. Ahorita estamos apenas viendo, ¿eh? Apenas conociendo la sección. Muchas gracias. Excellent. Okay, let's see what the answer is. Oh, it's letter E. Congrats if you chose letter E. Antes de hacer cualquier cosa, quiero que reflexiones. Si puedes, escríbelo en el chat o levanta tu mano y después abre tu micrófono y dime. ¿Cuál fue tu primera acción? ¿Qué fue lo primero que hizo tu cerebro cuando te pedí contestar esta pregunta? ¿Quién me comparte? A ver, ¿quién? Veo manito. ¿Cuál fue tu primera acción? A ver, Jorge. Ah, aquí está, admitir. Perdonen ustedes. ¿Alguien? ¿Puedes abrir tu micrófono? Si no, simplemente escríbelo en el chat. A ver, creo que hay una respuesta. Leer la pregunta. Muy bien, Esteban. Excelente. ¿Quiénes hicieron eso? ¿Quiénes leyeron la pregunta antes de cualquier cosa? A ver, muéstrame tu manito. O dime yo en el chat. Muy bien. Dice Ana. Leer la pregunta, después el texto. Dice Alejandra. Yo. Muy bien, Ale. Flor, leer la pregunta, escanear el texto, detenerme en la palabra proliferación y de ahí asumir. ¡Ay, muy bien! Perfecto. Excelente. Ok, fíjate entonces, uno de los primeros instintos que tenemos cuando leemos, en general, es leer el texto y después ver qué nos piden. Pero ese es el camino más largo y lo que queremos encontrar es el camino más eficiente. Entonces, es una excelente estrategia. Primero saber qué es lo que me está pidiendo de información y luego ir en búsqueda de la información, ¿cierto? So yes, for this passage, letter E is the correct answer. Vamos a ver si nos dicen por qué. Claro, livestock generally avoid grazing where rack growth is growing, but they will do so once it displaces grass and clover in their pasture. Those sheep can eat it for months before showing any signs of illness. If cattle eat it, they sicken quickly and fatality can even result. Muy bien, excelente. Let's go to the next activity. Fíjate que mi tip es exactamente este, que ya nos dijeron tus compañeros y compañeras. As test taker, you have to read all the answer choices. The question, yes, but also the answer choices before making your selection. And even if you think you know the correct answer, just using your logic or because you know about the topic, you really need to read the answers. The question, the answer choices, and then go to the text. Otra vez, Question, answer choices, and at the end, you read. You look for the information, all right? Okay, let's do it once again. We are in the same section. Multiple choice, only one possible answer. For this question, I'm going to give you 1 whole minute. Nada más porque estamos entrenándonos. Acuérdate que vas a tener medio minuto para cada pregunta, pero ahorita vamos a empezar con uno. Go, 1 minuto. Ten seconds. Okay, that's 1 minute. It feels a little bit longer than when you listen to the idea that you only have 1 minute to answer a question, right? It feels longer because it is enough time. Remember, you will have 30 something seconds to answer each question. So you really need to be very quick, right? Okay, so first, let's read our question. Which of the following, only one, which of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument? Ya leímos las respuestas. On particular cloudy days, more artificial light is used to illuminate the part of the store under the skylight, okay? When the store is open at night, the department in the part of the store under the skylight have sales that are no higher than those of other departments. Many customers purchase items from the departments in both parts of the store on a single shopping trip. Besides the skylight, there are several significant architecture differences between the two parts of the store, or the departments in the part of the store under the skylight are the departments that generally have the highest sales in other stores in the safest chain. A ver, vamos a ver la respuesta. Algunos ya fueron poniendo la respuesta ahí. Yes, it's letter E. But where is it? Ah, ahí está. Ahí está el argumento que hace más fuerte este texto, ¿verdad? Dice, the rest of the store uses only artificial light. Since the store opened 2 years ago, the departments on the sunlit side have had substantially higher sales than the other departments. So there you see the text contains enough information, the information you need in order to answer the question, even though you don't know anything about the topic, right? Muy bien acá. Erin, Ale, me falta Esteban. Muy bien, gracias por seguir participando, ¿eh? Excelente. Let's go to the next tip. Vamos a ver qué nos dice el siguiente tip. Acuérdate, todavía no estamos leyendo. Vamos a leer el tip. As test taker, you should be careful not to be misled by answer choices that are only partially true or that only partially answer the question. Maybe some of the answer choices are going to contain information that is actually mentioned in the text, but that doesn't necessarily imply that they are fully answered the question. So once again, you really need to understand the question and understand the answer choices and the differences between them. Vamos a leer la question. Es más, I'm going to give you 1 minute again, and then we are going to analyze it. 1 minute a partir de ya. That's a minute. Ya veo algunas respuestas en el chat. Excelente, muchas gracias. Vamos a ver. Antes de ver la respuesta, vamos a hacer nuestra estrategia. Read the question and read the answer choices. In the context of the author's argument, this is a STEM statement. This is a statement that is giving us a lot of information. In the context of the author's argument. Maybe you know about this topic, but we are really not interested on that right now. We really want to know if you understand the argument in the text. Okay, so in the context of the author's argument, the last sentence performs which of the following functions? It explains a criterion that was employed earlier in the argument. It shows that an apparently plausible position is actually self-contradictory. It is a conclusion drawn in the course of refuting a potential explanation. It overturns an assumption on which an opposing position depends. It states the main conclusion of the author is seeking to establish. Let's see. A ver, ya me dijeron algunas respuestas. Let's see which one. Oh, it's letter C. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yes, at the end, it says the odds favor a collision every 20 million light years. Each collision, consequently, no cosmic ray traveling much beyond 100 million light years can retain the energy observed in UHERCRS, right? So the conclusion that is being refuted is that the ray traveling could be beyond 100 million light years. Right? Could be retaining the energy observed there. That would be the potential explanation that is being refuted in this last part of the text. Okay, ¿cómo vamos? ¿Hasta aquí tienes preguntas? Dime, ¿eh? En cualquier momento que tengas preguntas, tú abre tu micrófono o escríbelo en el chat. Vamos al siguiente tip. Okay. So before we continue with tips and just the general content, I want to remind you that this is what you are going to see in your exam. You have all of these possibilities available for you. You can go back or go to the next question within the section. You can see a paraphrase of the instruction. the instruction that you just read or that you read at the beginning of the section is paraphrased in this help chart. You can also have a review where they expose within the section which questions have you already answered and which are pending or you marked previously. This is a great advantage for you if you mark a question and then you continue and click on review. The questions that you mark are going to be there marked so that you can remember that there's something pending. Maybe you answered already, but you have some questions and want to review again, or you just didn't answer previously, okay? So I just wanted to remind you that that is the case. Also, an important thing that you need to be aware of is that in here, they are telling you not only the section you are in, but also the number of questions that you are in within the section. Remember that you can move around within the section. You can go back and go forth within the section that you are working on, okay? Okay, so let's do this. You can also, just a reminder, be careful not to pick an answer simply because it is a true statement. Maybe most of the answer choices are going to be true, but not necessarily answer the question, okay? Let's do this very quickly. Now, the passage addresses which of the following issues related to Glass's use of popular elements in his classical compositions. I'm aware that you have already done this question. I think you did it yesterday or the day before with Sorani. So just read the question, the answer choices very quickly. Read the question and the answer choices. Okay, so try and find the answer. Right. So even though I knew you already knew this material, I kept it to show you this point that I made at the beginning of this slide. Just because you know some of the information contained in the text, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the correct answer, right? Vamos a ver, what is the correct answer for this one? Okay, so the passage addresses which of the following issues related to Glass's use of popular elements in his classical compositions. It addresses this issue, whether it has caused certain of Glass's work to be derivative in quality. Where did I find this information? Right here. Popular elements do not appear out of place in Glass's classical music, which from its early days has shared certain harmonies and rhythms with rock music. Yet, this use of popular elements has not made Glass a composer of popular music. It's not to be derivative of quality. The quality keeps being the same. It's just experimenting with different genre, right? So maybe this text or other texts that you will find and face in this section you will find information that you sort of know or you know a lot about, but you really need to read the question, read the answer choices, and then based on that, choose the best choice for this specific question for this specific text, right? Okay, let's continue. Let me know if you need to go back to something, okay? Or if you have any questions. So another important piece of information, a tip for this section is when the question asks about the meaning of a word in the passage, be sure that the answer choice you select correctly represents the way the word is being used in the passage. Many words have different meanings depending on the context that it is being used. So just as a sign of cruelty, this question may have one word and all the meanings that are actually true for this word. So the question is asking, what is the meaning of this word in this specific statement? Make sure that you do that you analyze when you read as practice for this exam, okay? Bien, we are going to go to another section. Seguimos en la misma sección, en la sección 2, pero ahora estamos en la subsección 2 de la sección 2. These questions are multiple choice, but now you have the option. It can either be answered with one choice, two choices, or all three choices. Okay, so in this section, you are provided three answer choices, and the question asks the test taker to select all that are correct. All the options that fully answer the question. One, two, or all three of the answer choices may be correct. This is important. To gain credit for these questions in this section, the test taker must select all the correct answers and only those. So if this answer is answered with all three options, you need to select the three options. If there are two correct options, you need to select both. But if there is only one and you selected three, you also won't have a score. Okay? So in order to have a score in this particular section, you need to be able to identify one, two, or the three options that fully answers the question. So again, read the question, read the answer choices, and then go to the text. Also, I need you to pay attention on the wording of the question because that is going to help you be focused on what you are supposed to answer. Fíjate acá. Consider each of the choices separately and select all that apply. Not the correct answer, but select all the answers that apply to fully answer the question. Once again, I'm going to give you 1 minute. At the end of this minute, we are going to review the answer choices. Aquí vamos. 1 minute, starting now. Ten seconds. Okay, so those are not a minute, those are 50 seconds. Did you feel the difference? Maybe a little, maybe you even didn't notice the difference. Let's try and reduce our time to 40 seconds for each question at the end of this presentation. Can we? Bien, let's see what the answers are. Okay, so the passage suggests that glasses work displays which of the following qualities? According to the text, it displays that a turn to use the popular music in classical compositions and a long-standing tendency to incorporate elements from two apparent disparate musical styles. Can't you identify where is this information? Where do they mention a return to the use of popular music in classical compositions? And a long-standing tendency to incorporate elements from two apparently disparate musical styles. ¿Será? ¿Lo identificas? Oh. El popular music that is being mentioned is rock music, right? And the tendency to incorporate elements from two apparently disparate musical styles is at the end of the text, where they say that this doesn't diminish the quality of Glass's work. Okay, let's continue. Remember, you can make some questions if you need, okay? Let me go there. In reviving, dice Alejandra. Yes, A and B. Muy bien, Ceci. Excelente. All right. Again, strategies for answering. Hay que leer la sección, hay que leer el tip, la sección y la pregunta. Okay? Okay, so as test taker, you should evaluate each answer choice separately. No trates de identificar si estas tres van juntas o si esta y esta no se llevan. Trata de evaluar cada opción por separado. Y así puedes decir si esa opción realmente está o no está en algún argumento del texto. Okay? So you should evaluate each answer choice separately on its own merits. When evaluating one answer choice, you should not take other answer choices into account. O sea que no deberías de estar contrastando una en contra de la otra. Trata de evaluar cada pregunta y cada respuesta por separado. Ya sabemos qué hacer, ¿eh? Tienes que leer la sección. Fíjate, aquí hay una instrucción de sección general. Luego hay una instrucción para esta pregunta en particular. Luego está la pregunta y las tres opciones. Léelo. Te voy a dar 50 segundos. A partir de ya. Ten seconds. Okay. Those are 50 seconds. Vamos a seguir las indicaciones. Acuérdate, primero leo la instrucción de la sección. For each questions 1 to 9, select one answer choice unless otherwise is directed. Ok, fíjate aquí antes de la pregunta 2, si es otherwise is directed. Antes de la sección 2 te dicen, following the question, consider each of the choices separately and select all that apply. Cada vez que tengas ese wording, tienes que seleccionar 1, 2 o 3. Acuérdate, si seleccionas una pero eran las 3, esa no cuenta. Si seleccionan 2 pero eran las 3, esa no cuenta. Si seleccionas 3 y solo era una, esa no cuenta. Necesitas entender la pregunta. Vamos a leer la pregunta. Mira, aquí me dicen ya algunas respuestas. Muy bien. A ver, vamos a ver. Dice la pregunta. The passage implies which of the following about the problem Rackworth poses to dairy farmers. Vamos a ver qué nos dicen las respuestas. Tú ya las leíste. The answer choice is only letter B. Rackworth can supplant the plants normally eaten by cattle. And cattle can get sick very, very quick. Milk produced by cows that eat ragwort causes illness in humans who drink it. Esa parte está en el texto, ¿verdad? But it doesn't explain a problem that really happens to dairy farmers. Fíjate cómo al final dice, those sheep can eat it for months, that is ragwort, before showing any signs of illness. If cattle eat it, when they sicken quickly and fatally can even result. So yeah, the problem for dairy farmers would be that the cattle would eat this plant because they immediately would die, right? There is no milk produced with cows that have eaten these plants because they die. So they cannot produce any milk. Si te fijas, van a encontrar elementos que sí están nombrados en el texto y los van a poner en una manera que no necesariamente está reflejando lo que te preguntan acerca del texto. Entonces, de nuevo te lo digo, don't be fooled, don't be tricked by answers that are partially true according to the text. Van a buscar información que de hecho está en el texto, pero que no responde a la pregunta que te están poniendo enfrente. ¿Ok? Entonces, evaluate each answer choice separately. Y otro punto, read every time, read instruction, question and answer choices. All right? Okay, so as test taker, otro tip, you should be careful not to be misled by answer choices that are only partially true or that only partially answer the question. Also, you should be careful not to pick an answer choice simply because you think it is a true statement. Maybe you will find a lot of true statements in the text, in the question answer choices, but they don't necessarily answer the totality of the question. Ok, otra vez, leo la indicación general de la sección. For each questions 1 to 9, select one answer choices unless otherwise is directed. Fíjate la sección para esta pregunta, la instrucción para esta pregunta. For the following question, consider each of the answer choices separately and select all that apply. Tengo A, B y C. Sé que me van a pedir que seleccione una o dos o tres. Depende de la pregunta. 40 segundos. Go. Answer the choice, the question. Diez segundos. Thank you, Esteban. Yes, my bad. This is the same question. Thank you for being there. Yeah, thank you, Karen. Yes, muy bien, thank you. So we know the answer, right? I'm sorry, beg my pardon. Beg your pardon on this one. Is letter B. Yeah, rabbit can supplant the plants normally eaten by cattle. Ok, vamos a la siguiente entonces. Oh. Well, this is the same question. I only wanted to remind you that the question of this type can have up to 3 correct answers or only one. Como tú ya lo viste, puede ser solamente una opción, la correcta, pueden ser 2 o pueden ser las 3. You should not be disturbed if you think that the 3 options are the correct answer. It is possible. It is possible that it's only 1, that is 2, or it's 3 of the options. Okay? A ver, vamos a hacer una nueva. Ahora sí, esta sí es nueva. Okay, you have already read this question, this text, but this is a different type of question, right? Remember, read the instruction. For the following question, consider each of the choices separately and select all that apply. Go. 40 segundos. Diez segundos. Okay, those are 40 seconds. A ver, vamos a ver. It can be inferred that the author of the passage would agree with which of the following about the origin of UHECRs that reach Earth. A ver, let's see which one is correct. All of these answers are correct for this question. The origin is something other than supernovas in the Milky Way. Can you find that in the text? The origin is most likely something other than very distant quasars or gamma ray bursts. Can you find that in the text? And the origin is most likely no more than little over 100 million light years away from Earth. Can you find it? Yeah, I'm sure you did. So for this question, all of the answers are correct. So don't be disturbed if for some questions in this section, you only find one, you find two, or you find three. It is possible. The important thing is that you understand the question, understand the answer choices, and analyze correctly the text. Okay? Okay, yeah, let's continue. Okay. Well, I've already done this. Sorry. This was also material that was exposed to you by Sorani, right? This is another section that is called Select in Passage. A great advantage that you will have in this section is, as in the previous sections, you will have the text in here and the question next to it. So you don't have to learn anything by heart or go back or go forth. You have the text and then you have the information that is being required. As you can see, you don't have any space for you to answer the question because you only need to select the correct answer. So the instruction says, select the sentence that distinguishes two ways of integrating rock and classical music. As you can see, I already selected. His music is not a version of popular music packed in to attract musical listeners. It is high art for listeners steeped in rock rather than the classics. Both of these statements are distinguishing different ways of integrating rock and classical music. The only thing that you need to do within this section is select it. Let's do it. Okay, remember, as their name suggests, perdón, permítame tantito, Un segundito, por favor. Aquí tenemos la pregunta. In which sentence does the author list the reasons of appreciation of rares? Find it. Muy bien. I have some questions here, some answers. The second sentence is Esteban. What do you say? A ver, let's find the sentence. Oh, because of their scarcity and their appeal, rare collectibles are also valuable. In this sentence, the author is telling you what makes a rare really valuable, the appreciation of that rare. If it is worth money or it's really just emotional value, right? Because of their scarcity and their appeal, not really their function. The only thing you need to do in this section is select it. Okay, let's do another one. In longer passages, the question will usually apply to only one or two specified paragraphs. So they will tell you on paragraph 2, in the 3rd paragraph, and so on. The test taker will not be able to select a sentence elsewhere in the passage. So it's important that you focus, read the question, remember, and follow the indication. Evaluate each of the relevant sentences in this passage separately before selecting your answer. Do not evaluate any sentences that are outside the paragraphs that are under your consideration. Do not select a sentence if any part of the description, if any part of the description does not apply to it. However, note that the question need not fully describe all aspects of the sentence. Por ejemplo, aquí, they didn't tell you how valuable they are. They tell you about appreciation. So they may interchange some keywords, STEM words, for you to have the need to analyze the text, really, right? So take this into consideration. As a text taker, you should read the passage and get a sense of what it is overall, what the overall meaning is, the gist of the text. You should make notes. Remember that you are able to make notes. You should note keywords and phrases and try to clarify what is being expressed. You need to note which claims the author makes and which are made by others and merely described by the author. So within a text, you can find the ideas that are originally from the author and maybe some ideas that the author includes but are not his or hers. Be aware of that. And you need to note whether the author is hypothesizing something or maintaining it with some certainty. Okay, so those are key elements for you to be successful in this section, identifying the statement, okay? You should also remember all the necessary information to answer each question in the section in general is within the passage. Even though you know a lot about this topic, I wouldn't recommend you to base your answer on your knowledge of the topic. Please base your answer on the text. Subject matter knowledge is not needed to answer the question, and you should not trust only on your answer, on your knowledge of the topic. You should read the text. Even with unfamiliar material, with a little work, the question can be answered. Si has visto, si has notado, nuestras estrategias que hemos aplicado en esta sección no requieren que tú sepas de música o teoría musical o de astrología o astronomía. No necesitas ese conocimiento previo. Lo que necesitas es estrategias, reconocer la pregunta, reconocer las respuestas y encontrar la respuesta en el texto. Eso es lo que necesitas hacer. Así que puedes estar tranquilo en ese aspecto. When answering reading comprehension questions, you should make sure you understand what the question is asking. Answer strictly based on what the passage says. You should not rely on outside knowledge, even though you have it. Not select an answer simply because it is a true statement. Remember, ya analizamos eso. Pueden ponerte mucha información que es real, pero no responde la pregunta. And you should not select an answer that is only partially correct. Acuérdate, ya vimos, muchas de las opciones de respuesta son de hecho partes del texto, pero no necesariamente contestan la pregunta. Otra cosa que necesitas recordar es que no debes de analizar las respuestas relacionadas entre ellas, sino cada respuesta en individual. When answering main idea questions, you should make sure that the selected answer picks the main idea rather than a subsidiary one. The main idea question type will include a word or phrase, something like this. The author primary purpose of the passage is. The passage is mainly concerned with. The best title for the passage would be. Todas estas preguntas están enfocadas a que identifiques, o a ver si puedes identificar, el objetivo principal del texto. ¿Cuál es la idea general? Con esto me voy a despedir. Tenemos algunas otras ideas ahí pendientes, pero son un poco repetitivos, como puedes ver. Lo que te puedo aconsejar es seguir siempre haciendo lectura activa, seguir los pasos que hemos compartido aquí. Antes de leer el texto, leo la indicación de la sección, indicación de la pregunta, las opciones de respuesta, y ahí sí, ya voy a usar mi medio minuto para contestar la pregunta de manera eficiente. Quiero agradecerte por tu actividad, por tu empeño el día de hoy, por el tiempo que dedicaste a este pequeño taller. Espero que tengas muchísimo éxito. Voy a dejarte con Jenny y con Mabel para que continúes practicando y conociendo de este tema. Bonito día.
Muchísimas gracias, Adri. Gracias.
¿De qué?
Chicos, pues gracias. Denle un fuerte aplauso con emojis y despidan a Adriana. Esto,
Mucho éxito.
muy bien, mira qué bonitos. ¿Alguna duda, pregunta? Adri se tiene que retirar, pero ¿alguna otra duda, pregunta relacionada con el taller, con el... en la plataforma del examen, cómo funciona la selección del pasaje? ¿Alguien? ¿Cómo funciona la selección del pasaje? ¿Te refieres a lo que Sorani mencionaba, que como que el examen va siendo inteligente y les va poniendo un nivel de dificultad un poquito más alto?
Si
¿O a
quieren,
qué?
mejor lo explico con el micrófono porque si no está un poco... Sí, o sea, ahora sí que términos muy prácticos, ¿no? Si tal cual es así como hacer una selección con un cuadrito, o más bien es como copiar y pegar tal cual el texto en algún lado, o sea, de manera práctica, ¿no? O sea, cómo se hace esa selección.
Ok,
No sé si
mira,
se
Keren nos
entendió.
está ayudando. Esto me gusta, hay mucha retroalimentación de los estudiantes. Tiene mucho que se refiere a seleccionar el texto, párrafo, perdón. Osmin, Keren. Bueno, se nombra la oración. Yo creo que, mira, es una pregunta que la verdad no nos habían hecho. Precisamente la idea de tener estas sesiones es que se hagan este tipo de preguntas. No te la puedo contestar ahorita, simplemente por el hecho de que hace mucho que yo no tomo el examen. Tomé el examen hace muchísimo tiempo cuando yo fui a estudiar mi posgrado. Entonces, no recuerdo exactamente cómo va esa parte. Pero lo que sí te podemos comentar es que revises como el material. Creo que el examen también es bastante intuitivo. O sea, te va a ir mencionando cómo hacer las cosas. No es algo que no puedas contestar en el momento. Eso sí te lo puedo asegurar. Entonces, creo que por ahí podrían funcionar.
Ah, ok, muchas gracias. Ahora sí que igual me da curiosidad.
Sí, es que es una pregunta un poco como más de formato ya del examen.
Sí, claro,
Igual,
totalmente.
igual si me dejas agregar, Mabel, yo creo que Sorani les compartió abiertamente su contacto, ¿no? Entonces, así como preguntas muy específicas en cuanto a la estructura del examen y ejemplos de preguntas, ella es nuestra fuente de información para eso. Puedes escribirle y seguramente te mandará algún ejemplo, te podrá responder con más claridad. Porque sí, como saben, o sea, cada vez se van actualizando y así, pues nosotros no, definitivamente no lo tomamos cada año.
Ok, muchas gracias.
Para el contacto de Sorani les vamos a pedir que revisen las grabaciones anteriores donde se compartió su contacto. Ahí debe estar en el chat del grupo de Facebook. Si mal no recuerdo es smarin@its.org. Pero smarin@its.org. Jenny me está diciendo que sí es correcto. Entonces, bueno, ahí pueden tener también el contacto de Sorani. ¿Alguna otra duda, pregunta? Ándale, así, perfecto. Según yo, así es. Pero lo pueden, por ahí está escrito en el Facebook Group. ¿Vale? Muy bien, pues si no tienen ninguna otra duda, pregunta, comentario, aclaración, sugerencia, los invitamos a unirse el día de mañana. Vamos a tener a otra gran profesora explicando la parte matemática. Les hago aquí el disclosure, el especial para los que no saben. Jenny es maestra de matemática. Entonces, mañana van a estar hands-on con Jenny en la parte matemática. ¿Verdad que sorprende? Así es, como ustedes, cosas que no sabían de los asesores. Todos tenemos algún talento oculto. Muy bien, pues mañana van a estar compartiendo, mañana Jenny va a estar impartiendo la sesión. Sabemos que algunos de ustedes no se van a poder conectar por temas de trabajo, pero nos vemos el día de mañana a la 1 de la tarde para concluir las sesiones de GRE. y poder pasar a las siguientes sesiones de octubre, que ya tienen que ver un poco más con ensayos, con CV, con todos estos temas, ¿vale? Si no tienen más dudas, que tengan bonita tarde para los que van a comer provecho y cualquier duda estamos en contacto. De nada, chicos.